word to wise. Grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple lies. You can't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we're going to be talking about Wolverine, number 16 by Benjamin Percy and Adam Kubert. And in this video, we are going to be talking about exactly how Wolverine plans to get his vengeance on the new X-Men villain Solem, and more importantly, how he's also going to get one up on the more recent addition to the X-Men's villain roster, Sever Blackmore. We're also going to learn exactly what Solem has been up to, where he's been hiding, especially on Krakoa, and more importantly, why the White Queen, Emma Frost, might just have a use for him. We're gonna talk about all this and more right now, but first, if you wanna see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I post new videos multiple times throughout the week and live stream every Saturday. Also, if you enjoy the video, I humbly ask that you Hulk smash that like button and share this video all over the internet and with all your friends because it really helps the channel out. That said, let's talk about Wolverine number 16. Okay, so when we pick this book up, of course, we know Wolverine has already set his sights on Solem because Solem has stolen one of the Muramasa blades, and he has just been setting up Wolverine left and right, hook, line, and sinker, and Wolverine's fallen for it every single time. Even going all the way back to Solem's debut in Wolverine number 6 and X-Force number 13. Wolverine has never been able to get the upper hand on Solem, and Solem has even used and abused Wolverine, even in the pages of Ten of Swords. So yeah, right now, Wolverine's just not happy with this guy. Logan is trying to kill him, and it just so happens he's not gonna have to look very far for him. Turns out, Solem has been hiding on Krakoa this entire time. He has been literally hiding in almost plain sight, and at the Green Lagoon, he shows up to buy Wolverine a drink and basically sit him down and explain to him what is going on. Now, we know that Solem exists in the Marvel Comics universe in the X-Men's corner of things as a unreliable narrator, and that's exactly what he is. I'm not gonna bullshit you here. He is lying his ass off most likely on a lot of what he's saying, at least in terms of wanting to work with Wolverine to take down Sever Blackmore. The truth of the matter is he's setting Wolverine up for failure. Yes, he's offering to take Wolverine to Sever Blackmore to offer himself up, at least, not at first, but it is all part of Wolverine's plan to offer Solem up as a prisoner so that he can get the other Muramasa blade back. However, Solem has other plans. The second that Wolverine and Solem spring their trap on Sever Blackmore, Solem takes a dive off the deck of Sever Blackmore's ship down to the cold, watery depths below and saves his own adamantium hide, leaving Wolverine to have to deal with a pissed-off Sever Blackmore. And we learn that apparently Solem played a deal against Wolverine and basically offered Wolverine to Sever Blackmore because apparently somebody wants Wolverine and the Muramasa blades. And the funny thing about it is, it's actually a character that we were introduced to in X-Force number 13 during the whole Ten of Swords event. It's the red left hand of the Beast. Her husband-to-be, the red right hand of the Beast, was killed during the events of X-Force number 13, and she wants her revenge, so the hand is after Wolverine in all the worst ways humanly possible. Right now, the Beast is dead because he was killed by Wolverine during that whole melee, and right now, the red left hand of the Beast is now sitting the throne of the hand, and she wants Wolverine dead. All of that aside, I do kind of want to get back to something that was going on here in regards to Solem. Solem, as I said earlier, has been hiding mostly in plain sight on Krakoa. Well, what he's been doing is he's actually been hiding at the Arakan Point on the island. It's the one patch of Arakan soil that is connected to Krakoa and also kind of works as a gateway between planet Arakko and Earth. And he has literally just been hiding there in plain sight. And what he's been doing is he's been taking the other mutants from Arakko, mutants from Krakoa. He's even gotten Krakoa under his thrall, and you're probably wondering, why is Krakoa wanting to work with Solem? Well, the answer is simple. As Solem does point out, the debauchery and the revelry that everyone that is on the Arakan Point, all the stuff that they're reveling in right now, the island is soaking all of that up. It's feeding off the pleasure that they're indulging in, and I know sometimes it is easy to forget that Krakoa feeds feeds on psychic energy. The reason why I think it's easy for us to forget that is because during House of X, we learned that the island takes a small fraction of psychic energy from all of its inhabitants, so it doesn't have to take all the psychic energy from just one or more individuals, which would result in killing them. And right now, Solem is offering Krakoa something that, while you would think it would be very easy for the island to achieve this, considering all the drinking and screwing that we learned was going on the island in the pages of Way of X, it seems as Solem is offering a very particular variety of debauchery that Krakoa can't get from anywhere else, from any of the other mutants on the island. Whatever's going on, Solem must be bottoming out Krakoa. I don't know. That is why the island is working alongside him, even to the point that the island has given him his own secret cradle with a Cerebro, something that it likely took from somewhere else, and it's even brought him some Proteus eggs. The island, or rather at least this part of it, is going into business for itself, and it does kind of explain some things considering the fact that the island of Krakoa has been rather silent as of lately. I mean, yes, it talks to Doug Ramsey, of course, but it seems like the island has just been very mum on some things lately, and now we know why. What all this is going to lead into, it's hard to say. However, going back into it, we have to remember that Emma Frost still has a bone to pick with Solem, and it's because up until recently, we've been of the belief that Solem was the one who killed Christian Frost, Emma Frost's brother, back in the pages of Wolverine number 13, but as it turns out, Solem reveals that he wasn't the one who killed Christian Frost. In fact, it was Sever Blackmore. Solem just happened to be there at the same time. However, what Solem does cop to is stealing the Logic Diamonds, though he does reveal he brought the Logic Diamonds back, and they're on Krakoa, and that he's put them back where they belong, and that he doesn't have any need for them, or at least so he claims. He does claim that he returned them, but something tells me he's still holding on to them. Considering the fact that he does have his own Cerebro now, and we know that the Logic Diamonds, well, that's what they're used for. They're used to work with Cerebro. What else would he have them for? That said, with new information, and I'm pretty sure Wolverine has explained this much to Emma Frost, Emma decides to insert herself into the conflict between Wolverine and Solem, as Wolverine realizes that he's not going to be able to defeat Solem because Solem doesn't care about anything. He has adamantium skin, so he knows he can't be hurt, and the only way it's possible to hurt him is through his emotions, which he steeled himself against that as well. But the thing is, he's never faced anyone like Emma Frost, someone who can literally turn their skin to diamond and can't be harmed, someone who also is a telepath on a level of which Solem has never met. Something that actually kind of slick terrifies Solem. It's the first time we ever see him with any actual sign of fear or doubt on his face. Now, Emma does see a use for him. She realizes that maybe, just maybe, there is some usage for a person who can kind of work in the moral gray area of Krakoa and Arakko. Someone who, as she says, given the fact that there have been issues with Cerebro backups lately, this is probably a nod to X-Men The Onslaught Revelation #1, where Onslaught had, for all intents and purposes, manipulated Charles Xavier into deleting backups of mutants so that when they killed each other at the Crucible, they wouldn't be able to be resurrected. Emma thinks that maybe this might be useful. Let him keep the Cerebro. Why not have a backup Cerebro that is in a quotey fingers black hole, somewhere that no one's gonna think to look for it? As she puts it, a backup of a backup, and the latest reason puts the blame as much on Krakoa as it does Solem, so maybe he can be useful. She even goes on to talk about, and this is coming from Sage's logbook of the interrogation that Emma did on Solem, talking about how he even convinced a piece of Krakoan slime mold to interrupt the circuitry inside the Cerebro helmet, and that when Forge replaced the old helmet with a new one that had been untampered with, Solem stole it, and once it was in his possession, the slime mold went away. It's really weird. It's a crazy thing. Like, it's really strange how Solem is able to just convince anyone, even Krakoa itself, to do whatever he wants. Once again, we talk about the fact that his mutant X gene power is his adamantium skin, but I keep telling people, man, this guy, he definitely has a secondary mutation of some kind of manipulation of pheromones, or maybe even some form of suggestion. That said, we also learn a few other things about Solem. Emma realizes that the way that Solem tries to combat psychic intrusion is fill his mind with lewd images, something that doesn't really affect Emma in the slightest, but she does does mention that apparently you can have sex with Krakoa, something that he found a way to do, and I don't know how, but somehow he did it. Another thing we realize is that apparently he really wants to get down with Wolverine, but as Emma points out, he wants to get down with everybody. All in all, it is interesting to learn so much more about Solem just in these last couple of issues of Wolverine, even going back to, and once again, Solem is an unreliable narrator, but even going in to talk about how he was raised by Sever Blackmore, how Blackmore knew he couldn't hurt him in any way. He basically tried to hurt him in ways that didn't involve touching his adamantium skin, like trying to isolate him, tying him to the figurehead of Sever's ship and starving him, trying to force him into exhaustion and even using fear tactics against him. And in the end, it turned Solem into who he is now. So it's one of those situations where kind of almost like the character Empath on the Hellions, it's like it's hard to be mad at a guy who is literally a product of his upbringing, or in the case of Empath, he's a byproduct of his mutant abilities. But in the case of Solem, it's like, yeah, Solem is a byproduct of technically both. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, Hulk smash that like button and make sure to share this video all over the internet and with all your friends so they'll know how you leveled up your comic book big brain in regards to Wolverine and his new arch rival, Solem. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know what you thought about Wolverine number 16. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.